The room was quiet yet heavy. A woman, a mother, sat by the window staring at the sky as if it carried all her unsaid prayers. Her name was Zoya, a mother of 3. A woman whose heart carried the weight of 1,000 storms. People saw her smile every day, but no one saw the war she fought inside. She whispered to herself, "I just want to breathe." Not the ordinary breath that fills the lungs, but the breath that sets the soul free. The kind of breath a mother often sacrifices while raising her children, while keeping her family together, while carrying responsibilities that no one else sees. Her story is not just Zoya's story, it's the story of every mother who silently carries the world on her shoulders. Every morning before the sun rises, the world still in silence, a mother wakes up. She doesn't wake up because she is fully rested. She wakes up because duty calls her name louder than the alarm clock ever could. While others are lost in dreams, she is already in the kitchen preparing breakfast, ironing uniforms, packing lunchboxes. Her body aches from the previous day, but she doesn't complain. She ties her hair, straightens her back, and whispers to herself, "One more day, I can do this." But deep down, she carries a weight that no one notices. These are the silent struggles of a mother. She sacrifices her sleep, her health, her dreams. Yet when the world looks at her, they only see the final product: children neatly dressed, a house in order, a husband supported. No one sees the storm behind her tired smile. It is like watching a stage performance. The audience claps for the actors, but no one knows how much effort went into rehearsals, the pain behind the curtains, the sweat that no spotlight ever catches. That's a mother's life. A life of silent battles fought in invisible arenas. Imagine a mother standing at the grocery store. She holds her child's tiny hand while balancing a shopping list in her head, mentally calculating every coin because she knows if she spends too much here, she won't have enough left for tomorrow's bills. The child sees candies on the shelf and says, "Mama, can I have this?" She smiles and gently replies, "Next time, my love." And inside, her heart breaks because she wishes she could say yes. But she sacrifices her own desires and her child's little wishes so that the bigger needs are met. No one claps for this kind of sacrifice, but this is the reality of countless mothers. Think about the mother who works a full-time job. She wakes up early to send her kids to school, then rushes to the office, where she spends 8 hours meeting deadlines and answering demands. By the time she returns home, she is exhausted, yet she walks into the kitchen, cooks dinner, helps her children with homework, and still manages to smile. Her boss at work doesn't know she barely slept. Her children don't realize she skipped lunch just to finish office work early. Her husband might not notice that her feet are swollen from standing all day. She carries these struggles silently without complaint. Then there is the stay-at-home mother, who is often dismissed with the words, "She doesn't work." But if you enter her life for just one day, you will see what real work looks like. She wakes up to feed the baby, cleans the house, cooks, washes clothes, helps her children study, and still finds the energy to comfort them when they cry at night. There are no paychecks, no promotions, no applause, just endless responsibilities that keep recycling every day. Society overlooks her, yet she is the very foundation of the family. And let's not forget the single mother, the one who carries both roles in her fragile hands. She works 2 jobs, runs from one bus to another, skips meals so her children can eat, and cries silently at night when the world sleeps. She whispers to herself, "I can't break. I have no one to catch me if I fall." Yet every morning she rises again, wipes her tears, and faces the world with courage. Her struggles are louder than thunder, but she has learned to silence them because the world expects her to stay strong. Every mother has moments when she feels invisible. She cleans the house, cooks meals, organizes birthdays, makes sacrifices, and yet sometimes hears words like, "You don't do enough," or "What else do you even do all day?" These words cut deeper than any knife, but she swallows the pain. She smiles on the outside, but her heart whispers, "I am doing my best. Can't you see?" One mother once said, "I gave up my dreams so my children could have theirs. I gave up my comfort so my family could live in comfort. I gave up my voice so others could speak." That's the kind of unshakable spirit that lives in every mother. She might not wear a superhero cape, but her invisible wings carry an entire family on them. And yet, despite her struggles, she doesn't want pity. She doesn't ask for applause. She only asks for one thing: that her sacrifices be seen, her efforts be valued, and her silent battles be acknowledged. She doesn't ask the world to make her life easier. She only wants the world to understand that behind every smile, there is a story of sacrifice, sleepless nights, and unshakable resilience. The truth is, mothers fight wars no one else sees. Wars against exhaustion, against financial struggles, against loneliness, against the loss of their own identity. And still, they choose to love, to give, to build, to nurture. That is the silent struggle of a mother, hidden, powerful, unspoken, but stronger than any storm. There was a time when she had dreams that painted the sky. A time when she was not just called mama or wife, but by her own name, a name that carried ambition, talent, and identity. Before children, before endless responsibilities, she was someone who laughed louder, who dressed the way she wanted, who had passions and goals that set her soul on fire. But slowly, as motherhood consumed her days and nights, her identity began to fade like ink washed away by rain. She looked in the mirror and whispered, "Where did I go?" Every mother knows this feeling, the quiet loss of herself while trying to be everything for everyone else. It's not that she regrets motherhood because her children are her heartbeat, but in the process of giving life to others, she forgets that she too has a life of her own. Imagine the young woman who once danced in college competitions, filling the stage with energy. Years later, she finds herself in the kitchen stirring a pot of soup, her child tugging at her clothes, asking for help with homework. She smiles, but somewhere deep inside, she hears the echo of her old self saying, "Remember me. Remember the girl who used to dream of performing on grand stages." But she silences that voice because dinner won't cook itself, and responsibilities won't wait. Or think about the woman who once loved to write poems, stories, journals that captured the beauty of her soul. She filled pages with imagination. But as time passed, those notebooks were replaced by grocery lists, school schedules, and bills. She opens a drawer one day, finds her old journal, and her eyes fill with tears. She flips through the pages and whispers, "I used to be a writer. I used to be more than this." There's also the mother who had a career she loved. She was independent, respected, and had her own identity outside the home. But when her child was born, she chose to stay back, thinking it would be temporary. Temporary turned into years, and suddenly when people asked her, "What do you do?" she hesitated. She wanted to say, "I am more than laundry, more than cooking, more than raising kids," but all that came out was, "I'm just a mother." And that phrase, "just a mother," burned inside her because it reduced her to one role, erasing the rest of her. The loss of identity doesn't always scream loudly. It creeps in silently during small moments. Like when she goes to a social gathering and everyone talks to her only about her kids, never asking about her dreams. Or when she shops for clothes and buys what's practical for housework instead of what makes her feel alive. Or when she sees old friends chasing their passions, while she silently claps for them from the sidelines. Each of these moments is like a drop of water on stone, slowly eroding her sense of self. One mother shared her heart and said, "Sometimes I don't recognize the woman in the mirror. I see tired eyes, worn out hands, and a body that has given life. But where is the girl who used to laugh without reason? Where is the woman who dreamed of traveling, of painting, of writing? Did she die the day I became a mother?" The truth is, she didn't die. She just got buried under layers of responsibility. And yet, what makes this struggle so powerful is that mothers rarely complain about it. They wear their invisible crown of sacrifice proudly. Even while losing pieces of themselves, they say, "As long as my children are happy, I'm happy." But inside, a quiet voice still longs to be heard, still longs to breathe. That voice says, "I am not just a caretaker. I am still me." Daily life gives countless examples. A mother cancels her gym membership because the money needs to go toward school fees. Another puts away her guitar because her baby cries whenever she practices. Another gives up her chance to travel because her family needs her at home. These sacrifices are beautiful, but they also come with a cost. The cost of slowly erasing her own name from her story. Sometimes the loss of identity shows up in the simplest ways. When a child's school form comes home, it asks father's name, occupation, mother's name, occupation. She pauses, pen in hand, and writes housewife. She stares at the word and wonders, "Is this all I am now?" A title that doesn't describe the depth of who I still am inside. And yet, within this quiet struggle lies extraordinary strength. Because to lose yourself for the sake of others is not weakness. It is love in its purest form. But love doesn't mean disappearance. Love doesn't mean erasing your own dreams. And every mother deserves to be reminded that the woman she once was is still inside her, waiting, whispering, "Don't forget me. Don't let me go." There comes a moment in every mother's life when she feels the walls closing in. Not because she doesn't love her family, but because she has been giving and giving until nothing is left for herself. She smiles, she cooks, she cleans, she works, she sacrifices. Yet inside she whispers words she's afraid to say out loud. "I need space, I need time, I need to breathe." But in a world that glorifies mothers only when they give endlessly, It takes unimaginable courage for a mother to raise her voice and ask for what she truly needs. Picture a mother at the dinner table. Her children are laughing, her husband is discussing work, and everyone seems content. Yet she feels a heaviness pressing against her chest. She looks at her family and says softly, "I love you all, but I need some time for myself." The table goes silent. They look at her in surprise because they had never thought of her as someone who could need space. After all, wasn't she the one who always gave without asking? But with trembling courage, she breaks the pattern and admits her truth. That moment, though simple, is monumental. It is the moment a mother chooses herself without guilt. Many mothers never ask for space because they fear being judged. They think people will call them selfish or ungrateful. A mother once said, "When I told my family I wanted one evening a week just for myself, they looked at me like I had committed a crime. But all I wanted was a few hours to breathe, to sit with my own thoughts, to read, to walk, to exist as me." It takes bravery to stand against expectations, to say, "I matter too." That single sentence can shift the entire foundation of how a family sees their mother, not just as a caretaker, but as a human being. Think of the countless daily examples. A mother with young children spends her entire day juggling school runs, laundry, cooking, cleaning, and bedtime routines. One day, she tells her partner, "Tonight, I need you to put the kids to bed. I need an hour alone." At first, he doesn't understand. He thinks she is fine because she always manages everything so perfectly. But when she insists, when she bravely says, "I need this or I will break," he begins to see the depth of her exhaustion. That one request for space becomes the beginning of a healthier balance in the home. Another mother, working full-time, comes home after a draining day. Her children run to her with joy and she loves them with her whole being, but her body is screaming for rest. One evening, she kneels down, hugs them, and says, "Give Mama 20 minutes. Let me sit in silence, then I will be fully yours." It is not easy to speak these words because mothers often put themselves last, but when she says them, she teaches her children a powerful lesson, that even the strongest need time to refuel. And by asking for this space, she models self, respect, and boundaries. There are mothers who rediscover their passions through the courage of asking for time. A woman who once loved painting decided to tell her family, "Every Sunday afternoon is mine. I will sit with my brushes and paint again." At first, they resisted, needing her for every small thing. But as weeks passed, her children began to admire her art. They saw a spark in her eyes they hadn't seen before. Her courage to ask for space not only healed her, but inspired her children to honor their own passions too. Sometimes asking for space means confronting cultural or societal pressures. Many women are told, "A good mother never rests. A good mother sacrifices everything." But a truly brave mother looks at that narrative and says, "I am still a good mother even when I choose to rest, even when I choose to honor my own soul." It takes strength to speak these words in a world that measures a mother's worth by how much of herself she can erase. A mother once stood in front of her mirror and whispered, "If I don't ask for space now, I will lose myself completely." The next day, she told her family, "I need mornings to walk alone. Not for chores, not for errands, just to clear my mind." At first, they didn't take her seriously, but when they saw her return from those walks with energy, peace, and renewed love, they understood. Her courage to ask for space didn't distance her from them. It brought her closer, because she came back stronger. Daily life proves again and again that when a mother dares to say, "I need time for me," she is not creating distance, she is building strength. When she takes a quiet bath without interruption, when she reads a book without guilt, when she takes a day to visit friends, when she allows herself to rest, it is not selfishness, it is survival, and that survival gives her the power to love her family even deeper. The courage to ask for space is not just about reclaiming moments of freedom. It is about reclaiming her humanity. It is about saying, "I am not a machine. I am a soul that needs rest, joy, and breath." Every time a mother speaks these words, she inspires others, her children, her partner, her community, to understand that love is not about constant sacrifice. Love is about balance, about giving and also receiving. And when a mother asks for space, she is not walking away from her family. She is walking back toward herself. She stood one evening by the window, looking at the fading sky, her reflection staring back at her. For years, she had poured herself into everyone else, her children, her partner, her family, until she had nothing left for herself. She had grown so used to giving that she forgot how to receive, so used to caring that she forgot how to care for her own heart. But in that quiet moment, she whispered, "I deserve to love myself too." And that small, trembling sentence became the beginning of her transformation. Transformation through self-love is not loud. It does not arrive with fireworks. It begins with small choices, almost invisible to others, but powerful enough to shift an entire life. A mother who once believed her worth was measured only by sacrifice slowly begins to understand that when she honors herself, she becomes stronger for everyone she loves. Think of the mother who spends her entire day working, cleaning, serving meals, and running from one task to another. She never sits, never pauses, never breathes. One day she decides, I will give myself 1 hour each evening, just for me. She takes a walk, listens to music, or sits in silence with tea. At first, her family questions her, but soon they see that she returns calmer, happier, lighter. Her act of self-love does not take away from them. It gives more to them. Another woman who always ignored her health wakes up one morning and says, I cannot pour from an empty cup. My children need me healthy. She starts exercising, eating better, and respecting her body. People tell her she looks different, but what truly changes is her spirit. By loving herself enough to care for her health, she teaches her children a priceless lesson, that self-love is strength, not selfishness. There's a mother who once buried her passion for reading because life was too busy. Years passed, and her books collected dust. One day, she picks up a novel again and feels alive in a way she hasn't for years. She tells her kids, Mama loves reading. They laugh and tease, but soon they see her joy. They begin to understand that their mother is more than just the one who serves them. She is a woman with her own light. That light inspires them to honor their own passions too. Transformation through self-love often begins in the mirror. For years, she looked at her reflection and only saw wrinkles, tired eyes, and a body changed by motherhood. She criticized herself silently. I'm not beautiful anymore. I'm not enough. But then one day, she decides to look differently. She touches her face and says, these lines are not flaws. They are proof of my strength. This body is not broken. It carried life. I am worthy of love, including my own. That single shift in perspective fills her with courage. When she loves herself, her children see confidence instead of exhaustion, and that confidence becomes their inheritance. Daily life is filled with opportunities where self-love creates transformation. A mother decides to say no. For the first time, when someone asks her to take on more than she can handle, she says, I can't do it right now. I need rest. At first, she feels guilty, but then she feels powerful. That no is not rejection. It is protection of her peace. Another day, she buys something small just for herself, not for the house, not for the kids, but for her soul. She wears it and feels beautiful. The joy on her face is worth more than the cost. One woman told her story, saying, I always thought loving myself was pride, but when I started practicing self-love, I became a better mother. I stopped yelling, I started laughing again, I felt alive. My children saw a version of me that inspired them instead of draining them. That is the power of transformation. When self-love becomes the fuel that turns a tired soul into a radiant one, even the smallest acts matter. Waking up 10 minutes earlier to pray, meditate, or breathe in silence. Writing a few lines in a journal. Drinking water slowly instead of rushing. Smiling at yourself in the mirror. These tiny choices build into something powerful. They remind her that she is not invisible. She is not just a machine built for others. She is human. She is worthy. She is radiant. Self-love also means forgiving yourself. Mothers carry guilt like heavy chains. Guilt for not being enough, for losing patience, for missing moments. But when she learns to say, I am doing my best and my best is enough, she breaks those chains. She realizes that perfection is not required, love is. And when she loves herself enough to release guilt, she creates a home filled with freedom and peace. Another powerful example is when a mother chooses to pursue her long-forgotten dreams. She goes back to school, starts a small business, or picks up her guitar again. Her children watch her, and instead of feeling neglected, they feel proud. They say, if Mama can chase her dreams, so can we. Her transformation through self-love becomes a ripple effect, shaping the future of her family. There is a beauty that shines when a mother chooses self-love. She begins to walk taller, speak with more confidence, and smile with authenticity. Her laughter returns, her energy flows, her presence becomes magnetic. The people around her feel the shift. They see that she is not only a giver, but also a woman who honors herself. And that balance between giving and receiving, between loving others and loving herself, creates a life that is whole. Transformation through self-love is not about abandoning responsibility. It is about remembering that she too is a soul who deserves care. It is about choosing to fill her own cup so she can pour into others without running dry. It is about looking at herself not with criticism, but with compassion, not with shame, but with pride. And every time she whispers to herself, I am worthy, I am loved, I am enough, the transformation grows stronger and the world around her feels its power. And now, as we stand at the edge of this story, Let us remember what the journey of a mother truly represents. It is not just a tale of sacrifice, not just a narrative of sleepless nights and endless duties. It is the living proof that love is the greatest force on earth. Yet, love must begin within. A mother who learns to honor herself, who dares to breathe, who claims her identity, who asks for space, and who transforms through self-love becomes unstoppable, not just for her family, but for the world around her. Too often, society asks a mother to give until she disappears, but let these words break the silence. You do not have to disappear to prove your worth. You are worthy because you exist. Every scar on your body, every wrinkle on your face, every tired sigh in the middle of the night is not weakness. It is the crown of your resilience. To every mother listening, let me tell you, you are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You are not just someone's mother or someone's wife. You are a dreamer, a fighter, a creator of worlds. You are the backbone of nations and the heartbeat of homes. When you stand tall and say, I matter too, you are not breaking your family. You are teaching them what strength really means. History remembers warriors with swords and crowns, but the greatest warriors are the mothers who fought battles in silence, who chose to smile even when their souls were aching, who sacrificed dreams but never lost hope. And now it is time to rewrite the story. It is time for mothers everywhere to rise and declare, my love is endless, but so is my worth. My giving is powerful, but so is my being. Do not wait for permission to breathe. Do not wait for someone to clap for you. Clap for yourself. Celebrate your own victories. Every day you rise, you win. Every tear you wipe, you win. Every smile you wear after a day of struggle, you win. And the world needs to see that a mother is not a shadow, but a shining light. Let these words echo in your heart. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to dream. You are allowed to live for yourself. Because when you love yourself, you become a fountain that never runs dry. And your children, your family, your community, they will drink from that fountain and find strength in your strength. As one great voice once said, your crown has been bought and paid for. Put it on your head and wear it. Wear it with pride, mothers. Wear it with dignity. Because your worth does not come from the chores you do, the meals you cook, or the sacrifices you make. It comes from the fire inside you, the courage to keep going when everything in you wants to give up. Remember, a bird does not apologize for flying, and you should never apologize for wanting to soar. A river does not ask permission to flow, and you should never ask permission to live. A star does not dim itself for the night, and you should never dim your light for the comfort of others. So rise, mothers. Rise and breathe. Rise and claim your space. Rise and hold your identity close. Rise and love yourself fiercely. Because the world may try to define you, but only you hold the pen to your story. And when you write it with courage and self-love, that story will inspire generations. As one of the greatest motivational voices declared, it's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether you get up. And you mothers, you always get up. Every single day, you rise. That is your victory, that is your strength, that is your legacy. And let me leave you with this. You were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life? You are not meant to crawl, you are meant to fly. Spread those wings, breathe deeply, love yourself without apology, and step into the magnificence that has always been yours. The world is waiting for your light. The world is waiting for your rise.